So, how about a little news, notes, and recruiting update for your weekend?
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Marc, and thank you for making Locked On USC your first listen every day. Whether you're watching on YouTube or wherever you like to download your podcast, I always like to remind everyone we are free and we appreciate your support. If you are watching on YouTube and you haven't done so yet, you have a chance to become a subscriber for free. Hit that red subscribe button. It would mean a whole heck of a lot. And if you are enjoying the show, you'll like the episodes, hit that like button. That also sends a whole lot of appreciation this way. By the way, this episode of Locked On USC is brought to you by FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/Locked On today to get started. Look, I was hoping it would never come to this because he's literally one of my favorite Trojans. But JJ3, John Jackson III, has finally decided to enter the transfer portal. And it's literally just a 1 week and a couple days before the start of spring camp is scheduled to begin. Now, truth be told, this move probably should have happened before last season, which is ironic because Caleb Williams and JJ, they're always hanging out together. I mean, I've heard they're like BFFs, really good friends, always around campus whenever I see them. So I don't know, it feels a little awkward that this is happening. But here's the deal. Whenever I've watched practice, and definitely before Lincoln Riley shut it down, all JJ3 did was catch everything thrown his way. And he's also a really willing blocker. But he doesn't really do anything that makes you go, okay, let's get the ball in his hands. He's what many would call a possession receiver, a move the sticks type of guy when you need that catch over the middle, just that real tough guy catch. That's, I guess that would be the best way to characterize John's game. And look, I'm just bummed because that his father, he's John Jackson, who is a great legacy, one of the best receivers to ever put on the Cardinal Gold. War number one. He's never going to get a chance to see his son catch a touchdown wearing the Cardinal and gold. And, part of that reason is he never got much of an opportunity for the reasons I mentioned just a moment ago. So, again, another wide receiver. I kind of hinted that this was going to happen. I was hoping it wasn't going to be JJ, but we knew that, that room, the amount of talent in there, if you have zero to minimal opportunity to see the field and you're getting on in your career and you just want to get some reps, you want to play, the grass might be greener elsewhere. And John's going to have his degree. I mean, he might even have his master's by now. Don't worry about John Jackson. He's going to be very successful, whatever he does in his life. Just comes from a great family too. And I can't wait to see his dad back in the press box, or if he's going to be at spring practice, say hello to him. Moving forward, now look, if this is true, wow. I think I might have mentioned this before, but I was talking with someone recently who said that Tuli Tuipulotu allegedly turned down $3.2 million to stay at USC. But it wasn't his choice. I'm not sure the particulars, but basically someone in his family said, you're going to the NFL. End of story. So let's just remember that there's no salary cap in college, but there is one in the NFL. And I don't know if Tuli's going to be making $3.2 million his first year. I know he's not going to get that kind of signing bonus. Now, I'm sure he's going to be making some good money. If maybe he slips into the first round late, most project him second round, which is still going to be really good money. So it's not like Tuli's going to be, eating Cheerios and bologna sandwiches when he gets to the NFL. Those days are behind him at USC. But again, if true, that kind of shows you what USC is willing to do for players who have earned it on the field. There are NIL opportunities there where they'll put together some, compensation packages. And, you have to make a decision. How about a couple of recruiting notes to take you into the weekend? I know you want those. Everybody wants recruiting information. So late Thursday, Scott Schrader over at WeAreSC.com reported that although USC might have been late, in fact, maybe one of the last Pac-12 schools to offer what On3 calls a consensus 4-star offensive lineman, Isaiah Garcia. He's out of the state of Utah. With that said, the offer was still a big one for the young man when Josh Henson gave him the news back on February 1st. Well, on Thursday, the 23rd of February, Garcia announced that he has plans to take several unofficial visits in April. And he plays at Cypress High School in where is that? Magna, Utah. Okay. The offensive lineman he's going to be visiting Washington on March 31st, UCLA April 6th, USC April 8th, and Oregon April 15th. The 6'5", 275-pound recruit apparently has 19 offers, so we know he's highly coveted regardless of his star ranking. And according to the On3 recruiting prediction machine, their RPM, Utah has a very slim lead for his commitment over USC at 28.3% to USC's 24.8%. We'll see where that goes. It's real early in the recruiting process. Here's a little bit more, something that USC fans are really focused on, a little bit higher up on the food chain. No offense to Mr. Garcia, but 2024 quarterback Dylan Raiola, excuse me, he's dropped Georgia from his. Apparently, he was scheduled to take a visit to Georgia, and he dropped it. Which, if he's not going to be taking this trip, and if it's true, it looks like this might be a 2-team competition for his services. And he's the number one player in 2024 in the recruiting class, not just the quarterback. He's considered the number one player. So, again, there was some social media traffic talking about this, and then I did a little research and I found out it is true. So I guess this is what it comes down to. In one corner, you have Lincoln Riley and USC. In the other corner, you have the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And he is also a son of a legacy who played there. So is it going to be, USC and Nebraska are going to be members of the big conference in 2024. Where's he going to go? Again, star rankings aside, there's little doubt who is considered the number one player quarterback in the class of 2024. So, if you're one of the top quarterbacks in the country and you have, NFL aspirations, and even though you've got, an NFL pedigree in your blood veins, who would you rather prepare you to play the position of quarterback? Lincoln Riley, who, basically, King's Heisman's every other year, or Matt Rule, who I love as a college head coach. In fact, before Lincoln Riley's name ever surfaced for USC, I wanted him as a replacement for Clay Helton. But there was a little chink in Matt Rule's armor when he was the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, because he completely mangled his quarterback competition. He had some good talent there, and he just kind of, I'm not sure he knew what to do with it. So I'm sure that'll be part of the discussions when Dylan comes back to campus. He's been at USC many times before. Well, I shouldn't say many. I know he's been there a couple of times. I spotted him there. Was it last year I took a picture with him and Marc Sanchez? Regardless, I have a photo of him and Marc Sanchez meeting near the McKesson. And just one last thing on some recruiting information before we move on. I'm hearing there could be some high-profile visits for USC spring practice. First USC spring practice. Like there could be 4 or 5 big-time names. I'm wondering if one of those is going to be a defensive player who is strongly rumored to be flipping to USC. All I'll say is he's from a big-time program in USC's backyard, and it's a position that USC could probably use some depth and some good quality high school recruits. Remember, Taka Curtis was the only one they brought in their 2023 class. We'll find out about that soon enough. That announcement's going to come real soon in April. Maybe even before then. What else? Now, I know I didn't give a whole lot of, nugget there, but, it's still early in the recruiting process for 2024. And once USC gets her quarterback to commit, that's when recruiting really takes off. That's when the class really starts to come together. You get those text groups chatting back and forth with each other, encouraging each other to come be a part of something big. We're going to build the championship together. You know how it goes. So again, there's not a whole lot to get overly excited about. But spring camp is right around the corner, so there is some intrigue there. And we're going to talk more about the intrigue list. But first, we're going to talk about FanDuel. We're at the midway point of the NBA season. We're here. So now, if you've been thinking about it, this is probably the perfect time for you to download FanDuel. They are America's #1 sportsbook. And because you're a new customer, you're going to get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. So all you got to do is just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, it's secure, and it's super easy to use. Then you can literally bet on everything from the money line to the point scores, 3 points drained. If you're a prop bet guy like I am, you're going to love those. And with FanDuel, it even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/LockedOn. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Once again, thank you for making this show Locked On USC your first listen every day. Please go check out our brand new podcast, Locked On College Basketball. They have everything you need to know about college basketball. You're going to get it from You can find it in one place. You're going to get it from big-name experts, insiders, coaches, players. Locked On College Basketball, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Speaking of college basketball, one quick note, please. You can handle it. USC went on the road Thursday. They defeated Colorado 84-65. That is their fourth consecutive 20-win season. This has all happened under Andy Enfield. This is for the first time ever in USC's program history. 20 wins. They're on their way to the NCAA tournament. They take on Utah Saturday night. They end the regular season at home next weekend against Arizona Thursday, and then ASU Saturday. Get your butts to Galen Center. That's just a little bit of a rant right there. All right. Intrigue time. We're going to get back to this. The list is starting to hit on some of the names I think everyone wants to see on the field. The WeAreSC committee voted, myself included, number 9, Damani Jackson. So Damani was USC's he was the top ranked prospect in the 2022 recruiting class, the biggest profile name, and he was actually on pace to be the starter at one of the cornerback spots last year. But, the end of his career at Mater Dei, and since he's been at USC, he's been having these nagging injuries that always set him back. And it's prevented him from making an impact so far. Last season, he was limited to essentially 7 games, and in any one of them, he never saw more than 25 snaps. He finished the year with 2 tackles and 1 PBU. That's a pass breakup. So most of his work was done on special teams. Now, what makes him so intriguing? If you pay attention to the practice reports, Damani was known as like Mr. Practice. His teammates, his coaches, everyone loved him when they were asked about, hey, how's Damani coming along? Can't wait to see him on the field. Look, I'm not denying any of that's true, but what are they going to say when the camera's on and the microphone is turned on? Oh yeah, he's struggling. I don't know what he's going to be. It's the typical, coach speak, teammate speak type of stuff. So, I'm on record that he's going to start this season as long as he remains healthy. Because you can't teach 6'1", 200-pound physical freak of nature. That's what he brings to the table. And he's not stiff. He's really fluid. I mean, really flexible, twitchy. And he's got NFL just literally written all over him. So, again, just stay healthy, stay on the field. And he has the ability to be a shutdown corner. And with Mekhi Blackman off to the NFL, we know that USC has already brought in 4-year veteran Christian Roland Wallace from Arizona. So is Domani going to be able to hold off last year's starter, Sia Wright? Jacoby Covington came on and became the starter at the end of the year, taking over for Sia Wright. So as you can see, this is why the WeAreSC list has Jacoby, Damani at number 9 on the Intrigue list. Now is really his time. My number 9 guy is Cortland Ford. So I know he already came off the WeAreSC.com list. I think he was number 19. So they didn't have a lot of intrigue. I have a lot of intrigue with the starting left tackle spot. A lot of intrigue. Last year, Courtland started the first snap at left tackle, first game of the year, and he also took the last snap at left tackle in the Cotton Bowl. In between those games, he was injured, and then I'm just a straight shooter. For a lack of better way of saying it, when he was healthy, he was benched in favor of Mason Murphy. who came in a year after Courtland. So far in this 2023 transfer portal, they brought in two guys who played tackle. Last year, they brought in Bobby Haskins, who could also play offensive tackle. Bobby's moved on. Of the two guys, USC brought in three offensive linemen, two of them specifically for the tackle positions, left and right. One of them is looking at that left tackle spot because Jarrett Kingston is this guy. He can play tackle. He can also play inside at guard. But, most anticipate the two inside positions, those are locked up. Kingston is bringing with him from Washington State 30 games of experience and 26 straight starts under his belt. Although he did suffer a season-ending leg injury against Stanford last year. But prior to that, he hadn't allowed a sack in 398 pass blocking snaps. So, if you're into the analytics and you're watching on film, Jarrett Kingston say, this is what I got. Cortland Ford can say, well, you know what? I've been the starter at USC for a couple of years now, and I know I can get the job done. I earned it last year. I'm going to earn it again now. But now the competition has really stepped up. It's not just one transfer. You got Mason Murphy, who was pushing for playing time last year. So Cortland needs to lock down his spot. He needs to take the guesswork away from Josh Henson, his position coach, as well as Lincoln Riley, who says, if you make it 50-50, sometimes we're going to guess right, sometimes we're going to guess wrong. So, how is Ford going to respond to this? Again, last year he got challenged by a portal transfer. It looks like it's happening again. What kind of shape is he going to be in? I know there were some questions about his weight fluctuating up and down last year. That might not necessarily be a result of him having some bad habits. Just going to leave that there. Hopefully everybody's on the same page, including the coaching staff as well as the strength and conditioning staff. So there it is. That's my guy at number 9, Cortland Ford. All right. Friday episode, Locked On USC. What does that mean? I'm going to try and make this something I do every Friday. Last segment, Friday rant. Just kind of get something off my chest. Whatever's grinding my gears at the moment. I'm going to say that there are some things that are better left unsaid. So the other day, Caleb Williams, he let it be known that his preferred landing spot when he's drafted number 1 overall, which I think everybody anticipates, and he didn't say this, but what he did say was that his preferred team that he would like to play for would be the Miami Dolphins. Okay. I mean, you're talking South Beach, nice ocean breeze, beautiful scenery, if you catch my drift. The nightlife, no state income tax for those people who are really wealthy. So what's not to like about Miami, right? And hey, when you're considered the number 1 overall draft pick to be, and the next superstar franchise quarterback, I guess, you are allowed certain latitudes. Because he said, quote, that's probably my number 1 spot, citing the opportunity to play with, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Mike Gesicki. Here's the thing. Caleb made those comments while doing an interview with People Magazine. I had no idea People Magazine still even existed. And to be fair, he did mention he would be more than happy to play for other franchises as well. Look, I'm trying to pull myself across this new paradigm line in the sand. I'm adapting to the changing times, both in college and professional sports. Some of it I agree with. Some of it I just kind of shake my head and go, wow, really? Kind of like, watching, NBA players demanding trades on social media and then getting into a debate about it online on social media with the league commissioner. I mean, that's kind of a new twist. And don't even get me started on seeing high school and college players earning more than some top tier coaches. I mean, to say that hasn't been eye-opening. Trust me, it's been really eye-opening. Think about how much if you consider how much Caleb Williams is worth right now, outside of Lincoln Riley, he makes more than any coach on that staff. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. One of the things I am not a proponent of is employees telling their employer where they want to work, how they want to work, where they want to work, when, all those types of things. And this brings up Eli Manning. Remember him? Hall of Famer to be, won a couple of Super Bowls with the New York Giants, part of that family, the Manning family. Well, when the 2024 draft arrives, it will have been 20 years since Eli Manning used he described it as his pull, when he demanded a trade before he even took his first rookie camp snap with the then it would have been the San Diego Chargers. He did not want to be a part of that organization, and he made it known publicly. Now, a couple of years ago, he's retired. He's working for ESPN, just living the life of Riley. He's earned it. I don't begrudge the guy, but just a little reminder that, Eli kind of took it a step further than what Caleb did. Caleb's just saying, hey, you know what, this is where I'd like to go. I don't think Caleb would pull an Eli. I haven't seen anything to lead me to believe that he would do something like that. Now, again, Eli did explain why after he retired. He said, and I'm sure in hindsight, he can say, look, I made the right decision. But, he deflected all that negative criticism. And at that point, I'm still thinking, well, you know what? You took advantage of your situation. So if players are going to take advantage of their situation, what's to stop the organizations from doing the same thing? So if Miami knows, all right, hey, we've got a chance to get Caleb Williams, well, let's be competitive, but let's not really be competitive. Let's try and get that number 1 overall draft pick. That's not a good precedent. We know the leagues don't like that type of stuff to happen. So anyways, look, I'm not mad at Caleb. It's not really a huge rant where I'm seething. No. I'm just saying that, look, just when you're the best at what you do get some extra pull. You do have some extra latitude. Like after you're drafted, you might suggest to your coaches, hey, let's run some of these plays. This is what I'm really good at. Or, yeah, you know what? This might be the best time to set up my workouts. Stuff like that. You might be able to get away with that. However, as a rookie, you don't have the right to tell anybody where you want to play. I don't even think you have the right to do that if you're under contract and you're not a rookie, but that's another story. So I would prefer he, kind of kept his mind on the task at hand, which is winning games at USC, focusing on getting USC into the playoffs, winning a championship, Focus on your personal goals. Put People Magazine aside, because this is going to be Caleb's biggest challenge going forward in this year. Living in Los Angeles, everyone's going to want to talk to Caleb. Is that young man going to be able to stay focused and not allow the distractions to overwhelm him? So far, like I said, he's given me zero reason to think otherwise. But now he's a Heisman winner in Los Angeles. I've seen this movie before. And with the unlimited NIL opportunities and the NFL on his horizon, again, he's going to have a lot on his plate. And everything he says is going to get dissected and scrutinized like I'm doing right now. So I just think it would be best if we dial things back a little bit. Not Caleb per se, just in general. Players being so outspoken, thinking what they are deserved rather than what they have earned. And you know what? Let the employers do what they do best, and employees, you do what you're paid to do. You'll get an opportunity to choose what you want to do, when you want to do it. But you got to earn that right. So, end of the Friday rant. And that's also another end to this episode. Another end of the week. But once again, thank you for making Locked On USC your first listen every day. Don't forget to check out Locked On College Basketball. Make them your second listen. Then head on over to WeAreSC.com. We've got a lot of stuff coming up for you. A lot of good content. Locked On USC will be back again next week with another 5 episodes. Can't wait to talk to you. Hope you're enjoying it. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.